Hey guys, welcome to the Drama Club. On this week's episode, we got a couple hot topics for you about Demi Lovato, Kylie Jenner, Travis Scott, Tyga, and the President of the United States of America. And then May tells the story all about Dennis Rodman.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Yeah, I know it do. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to NY.
I saw this cute thing that Joaquin Castro said he'd play Julián Castro in SNL.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was cute.
Because they left him out.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I just got an alert from Reddit talking about the DMCA notice confirms Trump tweet was taken down by Warner Brothers. Did you see that tweet? It was actually funny. He put, look at this photograph in all caps. And then there was a video that showed the Bidens together with like the, I guess the president of Ukraine. And the music that was playing over it was that one fucking, what's that band? That Canadian band? Look at this
Nickelback.
photograph. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the
image was
DMCA
then deleted, right?
yeah, he had to take it down because of the copyright violation.
Oh my God.
This photograph. That shit was
Everybody
funny,
thought
though.
it was Nickelback doing it to him, right? Like that they were the ones that requested that it be taken down.
I think they did. I think
Oh,
it has
okay.
to be either the artist or someone connected. I can't be like, take that down, you know?
Right. That's so crazy. I thought that for sure Nickelback was on the short list of like who would play his inauguration.
Oh, really?
I thought so because remember nobody would play his inauguration
I
and it
think-
was like a tiny list and I thought that they were on it.
No, you're thinking of Three Doors Down.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah,
Nickelback
that's
is Canadian. They don't got a dog in this fight. They had no reason to like jump in and play the inauguration, you know?
it. Speaking of don't have a dog in this fight, did you see the Demi Lovato thing?
Yes. Yeah.
So Demi Lovato went to Israel and posted all these pictures of her
Mhm.
trip. And
She
I
got
don't,
baptized and shit.
she did, yeah. And she was saying it was like a spiritual like adventure. I don't fucking know what to call it.
I think she might have called it. She might have used the tried and true reality show jargon of journey. She might have said
Right.
it was a spiritual journey.
There you go. Yeah. So then she posted all these pictures and then somebody on her Instagram commented asking her where she stands on the Israel-Palestine conflict. And Demi Lovato, why does Demi Lovato like that too? She's like very like feisty, like instead of just being calm and being like, you know what? I mean, I think the thing too is she's defensive because I think she probably doesn't know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Like I think she's just uninformed. So then she didn't have an answer. So then her response was something like, I'm an American singer. I don't have a position.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be asking me to have a position on things like this or whatever. And then
Right.
she got fucking dragged.
She got roasted by the entire internet.
Somebody on Twitter, I like this tweet that was so funny because it was like, I'm not Jewish. I can't comment on the Holocaust
Yeah.
or Hitler. Like, how dare you ask that I fucking comment on that stuff?
And then it came out that she was paid $150,000 for the trip.
By like the Ministry of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then she issued a statement saying I was paid to go on this trip. I was just trying to like go on this free trip, basically. She was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. I feel like more than just Demi Lovato, this also exposes the fact that Israel is like apparently paying celebrities.
people to book up their tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird.
I mean, I suspected, but
Yeah. It's a weird vibe.
yeah. But I mean, it's weird. Like, how do you even show up in a place like this and not learn a little bit? Like, maybe you didn't know before.
But wouldn't you know now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird. But then obviously it was sponsored by the state. So they took you where they wanted to take you.
Of course,
you
where
know?
they wanted
So,
her to see. They
yeah.
wanted her to get baptized and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last person that went to Israel on their own accord and got baptized was Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown.
Oh my God. Of course they did. Oh my God. Palestine belongs to Palestine, just in case anybody's wondering what my position is on that shit.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's all you had to do, Demi Lovato. Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was so weird. Anyways,
Great memes coming out of that one, though.
I know. I like how that one just came up like authentically. This bitch. Speaking of motherfuckers who don't have an opinion on shit. Why does she always like make it worse for herself by being all like?
Because she got defensive, you know? And I think sometimes
she always does, right?
Sometimes when you don't know something, like just take a second to maybe educate yourself, especially when you're in her position and you have resources to educate yourself.
Right.
Just take a second and learn, and then maybe be like, oh shit, like,
yeah,
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Yeah. But she always has to be that way. And then I feel bad because she has problems.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, it's not good to not be able to always be on the defensive. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it's impossible. I mean, nobody's going to fault you. It's impossible to know everything all the time. So maybe you didn't know that was happening.
It's kind of a big one, though.
I know it is a big ass one, dude. But
And perhaps we'll learn some things about fair play.
Kylie and Travis.
oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude. That was so crazy. So Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner obviously been together like 2 years, I think they said.
Yeah.
And they have their baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's less than 2 years old, so yeah.
The baby or Kylie Jenner?
Both, honestly.
Travis Scott, I thought was age appropriate for her though, right? Or am I wrong?
I think he's like maybe 8 years older than her.
It's still less older than her than Tyga, right?
Tyga, yeah.
He's 28. Kylie is 22. Okay, that's more appropriate.
Yeah.
How old is Tyga? Let me see. He's like 30, right?
At least.
Let's see. He don't look good, so can't tell. He's 29, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought
it was just
they
that
started
she
dating,
was so young.
Yeah, she was like 17.
Yeah.
Or something. And it was like very obvious that they were dating, but they didn't say anything until she was finally 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
And Kanye made that really disgusting comment. Do you remember?
No.
He was on The Breakfast Club, I think, and they were asking him, what does he think about Kylie dating Tyga? And he was like, I think he's smart for getting in young or something. Yeah, that's disgusting. So Kylie dated Tyga famously from the time she was 17 until she was like 23 years. No, until she was like 21 or 20. Because it was like 3.5 or something years. And then almost immediately after they broke up, she started dating Travis Scott. And she like went on tour with him, and it was a whole ass thing. So they've been together for a few years, and now they have a little baby. And he just did this like documentary on Netflix that she was up in, like supporting him.
Oh, Travis Scott?
Yeah, but there has been a lot of rumors that he cheats on her.
Yeah.
That's what NT says all the time.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like he's in his 20s. He's like
his careers.
traveling the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got I know he has a lot of like additional fame that probably he wouldn't have with a certain group of people by being associated with the Kardashian Jenners.
Oh, for sure. I probably wouldn't know much about him at all.
Right.
Unless
so it's
you're like into the trap music.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, a perfect storm for him to
kind of exploit. And
yeah.
If you're somebody who wants to fuck around, go ahead and fuck around, but be single, my dude.
Right.
So they announced that they were separating.
Conscious uncoupling.
Yeah, they were consciously uncoupling for a little bit. A little baby bit.
But they were like, it sounded like they went out of their way to be like, we're just taking a break.
Right. Like we're going to work on ourselves separately.
I mean, I don't believe that for a minute, but
right.
I think that's for the benefit, obviously, of their kids, so their child doesn't have to see all this like crazy breakup shit when she gets older.
Of course. So literally half a second after they announced their quote conscious uncoupling or whatever the fuck, she was photographed at 2 a.m.
Look at this photograph.
leaving Tyga's recording studio, and then like with him in the car and like dropping him off somewhere. And it was like the crack ass of dawn.
Yeah, I think it was 2 a.m.
Yeah. So that shit's crazy, dude. And you know what's funny? When she first got pregnant and stuff, I remember this thing went viral for a little bit because Tyga was saying, "That's my baby" or something on his Snapchat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Tyga said for a minute he was like, "Oh, I want a DNA test or something."
Ew, that's disgusting. That shit's ghetto. Don't do that.
But so she's trying to say that, oh no, I was just dropping off my homegirls because she went out with like her two best friends to like a club or something.
And she said like, oh, the internet makes things not what they are. I was just dropping off friends or something.
Yeah.
And then everybody dragged her for that shit. They're like, why would you need to be picking up people that are like millionaires?
Yeah.
Giving them a ride. Don't you have a baby? Like,
right. That's true.
go home. Like
they could find their own way home. They could call an Uber.
Do they really need to be calling you? What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah, but so she macked on Tyga.
I was with her in the beginning where she was like, my girls just took me out because they knew I needed to take my mind off things. I was like, yeah, that's
which for sure.
That's what we do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how girls be.
But then I was like, what part of that ends up at your ex's studio at 2 a.m. though?
Yeah.
That's not how girls be.
No, I think a good friend would be like, let's not.
yeah, let's not go there.
You don't need to do this in the midst of this drama, you know? You need to just be by yourself for a little bit.
I think Tyga looks better than Travis Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I just like Travis Scott's style more too. Like I like that he dresses weird.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't like Tyga either. God.
I mean, I don't like either of them.
Either of them, yeah.
She needs to do like her sister and upgrade to like a Brad Pitt.
There you go. Everybody needs to follow in Courtney, not Kim's footsteps. I don't know why they're fucking around.
She looks better.
She looks the best. Yup. She had all her kids with the same dude. Don't nobody need a DNA test over at that house. And she's like cool with that fool. They're not together, but like making it work, you know?
Yeah.
And she's macking on fine guys.
Hey, how come he got his own show now? And it's like
it
a house flipping or
flips
some shit?
houses. You know what's funny though? I did watch I don't know why I keep saying it's funny because this shit ain't not funny, but I watched this you know how Architectural Digest does the YouTube videos of celebrities like come to my house real quick, like the real cribs. I watched his and his house is nice. Like I really like his style.
This is his house now, like after his were they married at all?
No, they weren't married, but he has his own house. And it's really, really cool. And actually he was pleasant. He knows what he's talking about and like the designers and stuff.
Was that his job before he became a celebrity?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he had a job. His job was to mac on Kourtney Kardashian.
And he did it well, apparently.
Yeah, good for you, dude. 4 babies in. Your babies are cute as fuck, too.
He macked on her all the way to the bank.
Hey.
As you see this story, we want you to think about questions. Questions such as, what is fair play?
Ronnie Ortiz from Jersey Shore.
What happened? I saw that he got into some trouble.
If anybody is a Jersey Shore stan like your girl Steph, then you know that this fool Ronnie is problematic. He always has drama.
Like, what's wrong with him though? Like,
I think he has an anger problem for
because
sure.
They all have drama though, but it's usually around drinking, right?
Right. He in the new season of Jersey Shore is sober, so I definitely think he had like a drinking issue. But he has anger issues. Like he's the one that has physically fought with somebody else in the house. He's the one that had a relationship with another girl in the house named Sammy, and it was like literally season 3 or 2 of Jersey Shore is like the fucking best season of reality TV in my life.
Why?
Like,
just because there's
him and
it's incestual.
It's so crazy. Like his fights with that girl Sammy get so fucking wild, and like the whole house has to get involved, and like their partying is so ratchet. Like it's so crazy. But at one point he like fucks up her whole room. Like he gets all her shit and like slams it. He fucking throws her bed outside. Like he's fucking crazy. Yeah. It's really crazy. Anyways, so now obviously he's not
That's
with that.
scary though, because he's real beefy.
He's super beefy, but the other guys always talk shit on him too. Because the time that he got in a fight with the other cast member of Mike, like they really didn't do anything to each other. And then the other guys talk shit like, he's got a lot of muscles, but he don't know how to throw a punch.
Okay.
You gotta know how to fight to be a fighter.
Yeah.
So now he's dating this new woman named Jen Harley. She's not on the show. They have a baby together. I thought that she was pregnant again, but it doesn't look like she actually is.
Okay. Where did she come from? She's just
someone from Vegas that he met. Now he lives in Vegas. He they've had drama like since right after the baby was born. Like she's been arrested for domestic violence against him because she fucks him up. And I imagine he messes her up. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but like definitely she's been arrested for like fucking him up. And on the show, she there's this episode where like she confronts him while they're shooting. And like she just starts cussing him out and she fucking slaps him across the face.
Oh fuck.
She like ran him over with her car.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like it's just an awful relationship. So this week it came out that they were having a fight, like always, at their house. And the security footage from like their, the doorbells have that thing now, Ring. Shows her with the baby like all freaked out and like running to the neighbor's house, like asking for help. But then the neighbor was like freaked out. So the neighbor called the cops.
Yeah.
And apparently this is a house that they were renting like through Airbnb. So the neighbor was like, I didn't know who she was or anything.
Oh, yeah.
So the neighbor called 911 and the girl Jen had the baby with her. The cops came and they were trying to get Ronnie to come out of the house that they were renting, but he was refusing to come out of the house. So the cops had to bust the door open. Like he wouldn't open the door for them.
Yeah. Oh, my dude, at that point, like you're making it worse for yourself.
Take the L, dude. Yeah. And then when they get in there, he's like shirtless. And like you said, that dude's beefy. Like, definitely looks intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was still refusing to go with them. So they fucking tased him. And then they put him in a gurney and took him.
Wow.
The cops are saying that girl Jen is saying that he's been doing coke. And that's why he was like going nuts.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And this is a guess, but does he do steroids?
Yeah, all those guys do steroids. They literally on the show, they call all the guys gorilla juice heads.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's what they do.
So he's roided out.
Yeah,
he's doing coke.
Coked out, drunk probably.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
She needs to get out of there.
She needs to get the hell out of there.
I saw this really great tweet. This is not to bring the mood down, but this great tweet that was like, it takes an average of 7 times. That's that one statistic. Like you leave an abusive guy 7 times before it sticks.
Damn, really?
Yeah. And so they were saying like you need to be aware when you tell your homegirl or whatever who's in an abusive relationship, like why don't you just fucking go? Like why are you stupid? Like just go.
It's not that easy.
Right. You need to be aware that the average is 7 times you leave this fool. So it could be more.
Yeah.
So just always something to keep in mind because my first instinct is like take your baby and fucking leave that fool,
Yeah. But then that's the father of the baby.
Yeah.
It's really, really awful situation.
But she was okay though, right? She was just scared.
She was freaked out.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Ugh. That shit cray.
All
right, guys. Well, welcome to the Drama Club.
My name is Stephanie.
And my name is May. And this is a podcast about
celebrity scandals, gossip, drama,
international politics.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything and anything. So we have to give the biggest of all shout outs of all time.
Yeah. Get ready, guys. Like, if we had a DJ on deck, there would be some like fucking like Chariots of Fire music going on right now.
I haven't made that sound in a long time.
Yeah, and it's missed. We needed it.
So longtime fan and our friend Chef D. Low Niner.
Yup.
AKA Daniel is getting married.
To
Monica.
one of the baddest bitches, also longtime listener and fan.
We love you guys, and we wanted to wish you a huge congratulations. They're going to get married literally the Saturday after this episode airs.
Yeah, so if you guys know them on Instagram, give them a shout out. Wish them luck on not only their wedding, but on the rest of their lives, guys.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
No, seriously, good luck, guys. And thank you so much for supporting us. And we'll support you because you the best.
Yeah, congrats.
By obeying the rules. That's one way to play fair.
All right. So this week,
You're up.
I'm doing a sport story.
Sport?
Yeah, that I guess can be considered kind of tragic depending on how you look at it.
Fucking Dodgers. Did you watch the Dodger game last night?
I know that was fucking tragic.
I know, dude. Dude, I'm like, I don't know. I hate to say it. I'm sorry to this man, but I think Kershaw, that's it, man.
I mean, he's not the same Kershaw that we knew.
No, he's definitely not their best pitcher anymore. I don't know why they keep trying to make him that. I think because he's so likable.
But also, just you go up against Clayton Kershaw, you
Scared.
approach him a different way. You know,
Right,
that
right.
still holds like merit, especially in like the playoffs when the pressure is on and shit.
Right. That's what remember I was telling you that they were talking, or Serena's coach was saying that last time she lost the US Open?
What?
This last time. He was saying like, it sucks for Serena because, I mean, it's good and then it sucks, but everybody who plays her, they play their fucking best because it's something to beat her, you know?
Right.
So like she's playing everybody at their fucking peak performance, you know? So it's extra hard for her.
Yeah. Shout out to Serena, man.
Just forever and always. Always in our hearts. Always in our thoughts.
That's one woman that I'll for sure never be like sorry to this woman.
I know.
She'll never let me down.
Some drama come out, huh?
She seems clean to me.
I mean, yeah, but so everybody does until...
That's true.
Yeah, everybody does until they aren't.
Okay, so this story can be a little tragic depending on how you look at it, but I really wanted to do it first of all because there are plenty of scandals in it.
Ooh.
Perhaps even more than we're going to have time to get into.
Ooh.
And
secondly, is this Jose Canseco?
Oh, no. But is he on our list, though?
I hope so, because that motherfucker's dramatic.
Okay. So, secondly, because this is one of my all-time favorite basketball players.
Okay.
And finally, at the end of the day, this person is an icon, particularly of a certain time. So let's get into the story of
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Dennis Rodman.
Oh my God, man. That's awesome.
Dennis Rodman, who was not on our list, surprisingly.
Why? Did you think of him because you guys have the same hair color at some points in your life?
No, I thought of him because a month ago recorded, there was a 30 for 30 about him.
Oh, okay.
And
did you see 30 for 30s on Amazon Prime now?
No, really? All of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I know.
Okay. And so like, I saw that it was on a month ago, so I was like, gotta record that shit.
Yeah.
And then, so like a week ago, I turned it on and I was like, how is he not on our fucking list?
Yeah. Damn, 30 for 30 when it first came out, I used to watch every single one.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just stopped,
because they were, the first ones that came out were just so fucking fantastic. And then they started like churning them out.
Oh, yeah. And then it's like,
so
okay.
some of them are okay. And some of the subject matter, you're like, did we need a
30 for
documentary
30
about
this?
this? Yeah. Shout out to the OJ one.
Oh, yeah. That one's good as fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, I watched, and this is primarily where I got the information for this, the 30 for 30 documentary called Rodman for Better or Worse, which I do recommend it. It's probably the only in-depth documentary about Dennis's life that exists, which is surprising. There aren't really any good in-depth articles about the guy, which sucks because he absolutely, I think, deserves to be looked at in a serious way.
For sure.
I know he's written a couple of memoirs, but I don't consider Dennis a reliable narrator. So at least the documentary filmmakers act as sort of like a check on that. It's hard to say if they actually do, though. I also, of course, consulted Wikipedia. So let's get into it. Dennis Keith Rodman was born on May 13th, 1961 in Trenton, New Jersey to Shirley and Philander Rodman Jr. Shirley and Philander also had two little girls together, Dennis's younger sisters, Deborah and Kim.
Oh, wow. I did not know he had sisters.
I know.
Huh.
But they had their kids basically back to back to back, so they're all around the same age. It's funny because I feel like you and I were just talking about repressing traumatic memories. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or not.
No, I think we were just talking about it.
But anyway, Dennis opens the documentary saying that he doesn't remember much from his childhood.
Oh, shit.
He says, like, I just straight up, I blocked it out. So immediately I felt very sympathetic towards him because I feel like, man, there's definitely some trauma there.
Of course.
Maybe it wasn't what we typically think of as abuse, but he definitely had emotional needs as a child that weren't being met, which is sad.
Yeah.
Dennis's father abandoned the family when Dennis was 3.
Oh, wow.
So that left Shirley to move the family to Dallas, Texas, where she had to have as many as 4 jobs at a time to support her family.
Oh, my God.
And remember, Dennis is 3 and all the kids are close in age. So that means Deborah's like 2-ish and Kim was like a little tiny baby.
Wow.
So I really can't begin to imagine the stress that put on Shirley. Dennis is described by her as being clingy at that age. Like he really would not leave her side. And if he was forced to, like if he had to go to daycare or something, he would have to be physically pried from her by multiple people. And they say that he would just sit motionless at daycare until she came back.
Oh, no.
This really broke my heart because I'm obviously not an expert, but it seems glaringly obvious to me that Dennis was dealing with abandonment issues.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, because he was like right at that age where you're old enough to remember your dad. You know, the girls not so much, and they talk about that. The girls were fine because they didn't know their dad.
Right.
Anyway, I feel for Shirley, I really do, but she really positions it as this sort of annoying quality about Dennis, which made me kind of mad. Like she's like, he was so clingy. Like,
of course he was.
Yeah,
he didn't want to lose you.
Right. Recently, when Dennis was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, he dedicated a part of his speech to his mom, and he talked about how she never hugged them as kids.
Oh.
Not because she didn't love them, but because she was incapable of showing them affection.
Oh, no.
Which, if that's true, I really do feel bad for him because it seems like he needed that more than anything, and maybe his whole life would have been different if he just had that.
Of course.
Anyway, Dennis also claims that his mom gave most of her attention to his sisters, who both showed an early talent for basketball and both earned Division I college scholarships because they were so good.
Damn.
The girls were both really tall. I think one eventually grew to be like 6'3" and the other one 6'1".
God damn.
Yeah. And Dennis was average at best, borderline short. So they quickly outgrew him, which led them to be really protective of him, even though they were younger, because not only was he small, but he was also painfully quiet and shy, and he'd get bullied all the time.
That's so crazy.
So he didn't really have any friends outside of them, and they would often dress him up in dresses and wigs and makeup because that's just how they would all play together.
Well, yeah, they're girls, so
they're right, and that's their little brother who they're really protective of. So he's with them all the time. So he's like, "Oh, I want to play with you guys." Like, that's...
and if he's down, then whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So on top of everything, the other kids bullied him even more because they saw the dynamic he had with his sisters, and they thought he was gay.
Oh my gosh.
And remember, this is Texas in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah.
So Dennis was having a really hard time. He just didn't fit in. He tried to play sports, but he wasn't really athletic. He didn't make the football team, and he was cut from the basketball team because he was small and he sucked. The only thing he was really good at was pinball, which he became so physically animated when he played that he picked up the nickname that sticks with him to this day and for which he was known throughout his NBA career, the Worm.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so cute. Like, he says that he would just always go like this when he was playing.
Oh.
I always thought they called him the Worm because he was weird, like gross.
Yeah.
So he finishes high school and gets a night job as a janitor at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. One day at work, he steals like 40 watches from one of the airport stores.
Ooh.
Not realizing that obviously there are security cameras.
Yeah, 40's a lot, dude.
40, that's so many. So he's arrested a few days later and taken to an airport jail where he had to stay overnight until he made bail. His mugshot is crazy because he looks like a little kid and he's crying his eyes out. And he looks, I hate to use the word grotesque,
I want to look it up.
You should. But his features are so big because he hasn't grown into them yet. So his ears are huge, his nose is huge, his eyes and lips are huge, and his face is all distorted because he's hysterically bawling his eyes out.
He looks crazy, actually.
He looks weird, right? He looks like
a doll.
What is that guy? The guy who does like the artwork for like Fear and Loathing.
Oh,
Stedman.
Yes.
Ralph?
Sam? No.
Ralph, I think. Ralph Stedman. He looks
Yeah.
like one of those paintings.
Characters. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because he's hysterical, so he looks weird. It's quite the image. Anyway, the charges were dismissed because the prosecutor took pity on him after they found out that he didn't even try to sell the watches. He just gave them away so that people would like him.
Oh.
So anyway, his mom kicked him out after this because obviously he was fired from his job and he wasn't going to college or anything. So she was like, either get a job or go to college. So he ended up on the streets. But then something crazy happened. In the year and a half after high school, Dennis had a growth spurt. That makes it sound like, oh, you're just, you're a regular schmegular everyday growth spurt. But first of all, he's like 19 years old.
Right.
So this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, no, Dennis grew 11 inches.
That's fucking ridiculous.
He went from 5'9".
He's a fucking tree.
Yeah, somebody just put some Miracle Grow on his head. So he grew 11 inches. He was 5'9" at the end of his senior year. So he ended up at 6'8" just a year and a half later.
That's so crazy.
So this is when Dennis started taking athletics a little more seriously, and he started working out at his local rec center by playing basketball.
So, but at this time, his mom had kicked him out?
Yeah.
Mm.
So he said he would like sleep behind the 7-Eleven. He would crash on like some dudes that he knows couches, and he was just like sort of bouncing around.
Yeah.
And he would pass the time by playing basketball at the rec center.
Cool.
So he caught the eye of the local junior college, and that's when his mom let him come back home because like now he's going to school,
Right.
Where he played for almost a full season, but he flunked out of school. Despite this, at 23 years old, he was recruited by the tiny college, Southeastern Oklahoma State University, where he thrived on the court and became a 3-time All-American and led the league in rebounding.
That's awesome.
This college is small, so they don't play in the NCAA. They play in the NAIA.
Oh, wow.
I never even heard of that.
It's Division I, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm. It's like it's a whole different system because I didn't realize there was a whole different system for these small schools, but that makes sense because a little tiny school isn't playing against UCLA,
Of course not, yeah.
So anyway, so this is a whole different league. So it's not like all this would fast track him towards an NBA career or anything like it probably would in the NCAA. He still had a lot of work to do, but it was enough to put him in some tournaments where he caught the eye of some scouts. Meanwhile, while he lived in Oklahoma, Dennis experienced some overt racism. He said,
"Oh yeah,
right." He said being called the N-word was such an everyday thing that he never even thought of it as a black and white racist thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. For him, that was just the way things were.
That's awful.
That made me so sad.
Yeah.
And this...
sorry. I remember my brother goes to Arkansas all the time for work.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I was like, don't you feel weird out there? Like, you're the only, like, Hispanic dude. Like,
mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't really think about it. But one time I was leaving this bar and this white man yelled, "There goes Jose."
Whoa.
Or something like that at my brother. And I was like,
Yeah.
what'd you do? And he was like, nothing. I just fucking, what am I going to do? What am I going to change that guy? No.
Right. Yeah. And also you're by yourself. Like, fuck.
Oh, fuck that. They got guns and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to live in
SoCal.
California. Yeah. Which is like when something racist does happen, like
It's so
in or
shocking.
around us. Yeah. Like you almost don't know what to do because you're like, what?
It's like, did that really just happen? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. That I feel sheltered in that way.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
There was one of the experts in the documentary was talking about how this is really sad because it also shows that Dennis wasn't educated to like the history of like what that meant and what that meant to use that word against someone.
Right. He just thought it was like, whatever, like regular.
Right.
Yeah. He just accepted it.
Not only did he just take it, but like he also had no idea,
Yeah, that's awful.
So during this time, Dennis worked at a basketball camp where he bonded with a 13-year-old boy named Brian Rich and became his best friend. I got serious Michael Jackson vibes
Uh-oh.
from some of Dennis's story. Like he befriended this child.
This
And
older guy?
no, because Dennis is like 21 or 22.
And who's this guy?
He's a 13-year-old boy.
Oh.
Yeah. So not only did he befriend this child, but there was also this whole thing about how he was very immature because he didn't get to enjoy his own childhood.
That is Michael Jackson vibes.
Right. However, unlike Michael, there has never been any allegations of anything inappropriate happening in Dennis's case.
Okay.
Anyway, the whole thing really made me think about how people like to excuse Michael's behavior because of how unfortunate his own childhood was. But I feel like we really need to stop doing that because sometimes there's behavior that's inexcusable and we just need to call it that.
And that's literally the cycle then. Like it's just
Yeah.
going to keep on happening. Like
Right.
break the cycle.
And Dennis talks about how this kid Brian used to he used to sleep next to him, and we've never heard anybody say anything like that any inappropriateness has happened with Dennis and kids.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. It made me think about Michael, and it led even more credence, I think, to the allegations against Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, so this kid Brian was going through some shit because he had recently accidentally killed his best friend in a hunting accident, and his friend died in his arms.
Oh my God.
So he was, he's 13 years old, so he was understandably a fucking mess as a result of that guilt.
Oh, yeah.
But then Dennis came into his life and they really brought each other out of their respective shells because remember, Dennis is also very childlike and shy and he's a mess too. So they were really good for each other in a lot of ways. So Brian invited Dennis to sleep over his house, which shocked Brian's parents because I don't think they expected a black 6'8" adult man to be Brian's friend from basketball camp.
Right.
But Dennis was lonely and so was Brian, and everyone noted how much Dennis acted like a kid anyway, so that was that. The university even made Brian the ball boy since he was hanging around so much anyway.
Wow.
Eventually, Dennis moved in with the rich family and lived and worked on their farm with them.
Oh, wow.
Dennis said that he felt like one of their kids and he wanted them to adopt him, which the rich family talked him back from by saying that it would for sure hurt his mother. But for Dennis, he finally felt like he belonged somewhere for the first time in his life, which is really weird because Brian's mom, Pat Rich, is a racist.
What?
Yeah, she's one of those racists who doesn't think that she's racist. And you can tell because when she's interviewed in the documentary, she says that she told Dennis he should only date black women because that's just the way things should be. And she said, quote, "I don't mean anything by it. That's just the way I was raised."
That sounds like Paula Dean's.
Yep. Yeah,
defense.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she goes on to tell a story with very little hesitation, mind you, about the time Dennis talked back to her and she responded with, quote, "Okay, N-word, you're going to have to watch your mouth."
Oh my God.
Let me tell you, when I was watching the documentary, I had to stop and rewind because I could not believe that she just volunteered this information like it was nothing.
She said it like
She
that?
said it. She said
Oh
it.
my
And they didn't
God.
bleep it or anything. She just
'Cause
fucking
she
said
doesn't
it.
think there's anything wrong with that.
She did give a short pause before she said the word.
Yeah.
She said, "Okay, N-word."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this, all right, then I just got really sad again for Dennis because I was like, how terrible that he thought that this was a loving environment for him.
Right.
He literally wanted this woman to adopt him.
Oh my gosh.
Dennis says
He totally
and
has abandonment issues, right?
he does. And remember, he's a grown man at this point. He's
Yeah.
he's in his early 20s.
But he's still seeking that
Uh-huh.
security.
Yeah. So Dennis says it didn't bother him because he figured she just wasn't used to being around black people. And again, he didn't take it as a racist thing. At the same time, things started to get really bad between Dennis and his real mom, Shirley. He resented her for kicking him out, which she said she did for his own good. And he was also mad at the fact that he felt like now that he was becoming successful, she only then started paying attention to him and trying to be a mother to him.
Oof.
I feel like I got to hear both sides on this. Like, I see where he's coming from, but like I also understand that she pushed him, you know? Like you have to do something with your life, and that was her way of pushing him, but maybe that's not how you do it to someone who has abandonment issues.
Right. Maybe she didn't really understand, you know, she was
Yeah.
uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different time too. Like people,
Right.
I don't know.
People's dads left all the time. People's dads still leave,
And
but
it was
back
just
then
like
it was
fucking
like,
deal with it. Like
Yeah.
nobody was like, oh, abandonment issues, you know,
Right.
like that wasn't common knowledge or anything like that.
no one really thought about how this would affect these kids going forward. They were just like,
Right.
that sucks, get over it, you know?
Now we know because now we've studied all that stuff. I was just talking about this with my brother and stuff because like we know so much about like what different things will do to children as they grow up, you know, and like how
Yeah.
that will affect them later in life. And then now we have this whole new slew of problems. Like now there's the fucking phones and social media and like we don't know what that is gonna do to them,
Right.
you know, later in life. And like we won't find out until they
It's too
grow
late.
up. Until they grow up, yeah, and we
Yeah.
see, you know.
Man, it's always going to be something.
It's always gonna be something, for sure.
To all the parents out there, God bless you guys for doing your best.
You're doing the best with what you got.
Yeah. So anyway, Dennis and Shirley's relationship deteriorated and essentially never recovered.
Aw.
In 2013, Dennis suddenly stopped all contact with the Rich family,
Okay.
and the Rich family claimed to not know why, and Dennis has not publicly given a reason.
Damn,
It's
so he
interesting,
stayed
though.
in contact with them
Yeah.
like this whole ass time.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And they're in the documentary, and they don't say like why he stopped talking to them, but also now Dennis, I mean, we'll
Has
get to
other-
it, but
yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah. All right, so the year is 1986,
Hmm.
and 25-year-old Dennis made himself eligible for the NBA draft, where he was drafted 27th overall by the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
I feel like we don't hear that much of something like this happening anymore, where it's like an older player, you know, like not necessarily your typical 21, 22-year-old college kid, because he was like 25 already.
Yeah, that's true. What's that Dodger that got scouted when he was at Cal State Fullerton? Redhead?
Yeah.
Justin
Turner.
No,
Justin
Turner.
Yeah.
Justin Turner. And he was like pretty much like he had given up, right?
Mhm.
Like, and then he was like, okay, let me just try.
Yeah. Never give up on your dreams, guys.
Never give up, man.
Okay, so this team, coached by Chuck Daly, became known as the Bad Boys for their ridiculously tough physical style of play.
It was a very 80s nickname.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
And I actually, one of my favorite 30 for 30 documentaries is about the Bad Boys, and I absolutely recommend that one. The highlights alone make it worth the watch. The Bad Boys look like they're playing a completely different sport. That's how physical they played. It was crazy. Anyway, Dennis immediately fit well into the team, which also included Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Lambier, and John Sally. And all these guys were quick to remark about how Dennis looked to Coach Daly as a father figure. He even spent every holiday with the Daly family. So once again, Dennis found the surrogate family that he was seemingly always looking for, not just with his teammates, but especially with Chuck Daly. The guys also note how childlike, sweet, and innocent Dennis was. Despite being 25, 26, he was still painfully shy. He liked kids' toys. He didn't drink a single drop of alcohol in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
John Sally says they'd go to the club and Dennis would order milk.
Whoa. No. That's ridiculous, though. Like, that's almost a joke.
He said,
Come
imagine being in the club partying with your boys and like one of them is ordering milk.
They don't even got milk at the club, do they? Come on. They had a call off
You
Russian.
got white Russians, you know?
Oh, my God. Milk. That's so nasty.
It does the body good.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, it was like everybody's little brother. A little brother who could knock you to the ground as he got literally every rebound, throw the ball to half court, and then somehow make it to the other end to finish with a dunk.
Yeah.
The man was a beast. It was really mesmerizing to watch him play. I don't think the league had seen someone play like him either before or since. He was amazing.
Right.
This is one of the best parts of the documentary because they talk about how he turned the league upside down because there had never been a player that didn't give a shit if he scored or not. You know, like the ego of these guys usually make them want to score a million points because that
Right.
shows up in your stats.
And hoard
But
the
Dennis,
ball and shit.
right? But Dennis was doing his own thing. He was rebounding. He was blocking shots. He was stealing. He was playing his role as a defender and doing it well.
That's awesome.
Somebody said something crazy like he was the most popular player in Detroit, despite the fact that he was like scoring like 2 points a game or something, which is like unheard of.
I mean, but that's the game, right? Like he's playing
Right.
the game. Like he's
Yeah.
doing it right. That's commendable for sure.
Right. He's playing the role that he's in there to play.
Yeah. And like
It's
Kobe
great.
always gets backlash for like being such a fucking
Ball hog, yeah.
ball hog.
And taking stupid shots. He got better about that when he got older, though.
Yeah.
In 1987, they lost the Eastern Conference Finals in 7 games to the Boston Celtics in what many consider one of the best all-time playoff series.
Fuck the Celtics.
Yeah, yep.
Paul Pierce, I'm thinking about you.
The truth. In 88, they went all the way to the finals against our Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay, but that was the best year because that was the year I was born. The Lakers won. The Dodgers won the
Dodgers
World
won,
Series. Yup, that's the greatest year of all time. Hey.
So the Pistons, they took a 3-2 lead in the finals,
Damn.
but they ultimately lost in 7. Those are the Showtime Lakers too. That's like the best Laker era. Man.
That's so tight. My brother always talks about that. It's like, I
Yeah.
always remember when you were born. It was the best year of my life.
That's so sweet. That same year, Dennis had a daughter named Alexis
Aw.
with his girlfriend Annie. Alexis is fucking beautiful, and also like the pictures of her when she's a little girl, like growing up, she's so cute.
I gotta look her up.
So he had a daughter named Alexis with his girlfriend Annie, who he had met the previous year.
Okay.
So things could not be going better for the Worm.
Right.
Right? The only thing that could make things better would be winning an NBA championship.
Oh my God, she is beautiful.
She's so beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
So they're searching for that championship, which the Bad Boys did the following year in 1989 by sweeping the Celtics, beating the Bulls and reigning scoring champ Michael Jordan in 6, and then sweeping the Lakers in the finals.
Okay, well, good for them.
Bad Boys.
Bad boys for life.
The next year, in 1990, Dennis was resoundingly named the NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
That's cool.
When he was presented the award, he broke down in tears and proclaimed that he wanted it so bad.
Oh,
In a show of emotion that at the time was something you just never saw in the macho world of male professional sports.
of course not. That's so sweet.
It was really like jarring almost at the time. Like it was groundbreaking because just men didn't show that kind of emotion.
Of course not. That's great.
Today, Dennis said, quote, "I didn't know you weren't supposed to cry. I didn't know you weren't supposed to show that your heart was on your sleeve. I didn't know." A month after he won the award, the Bad Boys became back-to-back champions
Okay.
when they beat the Portland Trail Blazers to win the NBA Finals.
Damn.
So Dennis is living dreams he never thought he could have. He
This is
never
my favorite
thought,
part of these stories always.
right?
I'm like, oh
the
my
peak.
God. You're on top, baby. You made it.
He never thought that he deserved any of this, you know? So he just like, in his wildest dreams, because he imagined that all of this was happening. And it's all like due to hard work because he was never the most athletic guy. He just like worked his fucking ass off. you
Yeah,
know?
and he seems like he just puts his head down, does his job. Like he's like
Yeah.
gonna be a defense player. Like you
Right.
know, like he
That's
just
and he talks about that in his speech when he won Defensive Player of the Year. He's like, I just worked, you know, like that's all I did. I just worked hard, and that's why he's like, I wanted this so bad.
that's a really awesome thing to put out there in the public too, because like the public is always like they just assume shit comes easy for these guys or like they're just
Yeah,
talented
It's
and
just
like
talent.
yeah, but it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work and dedication. And see,
I can't remember what class I took in college. It was really interesting, but the professor brought up how this is also a racial thing. How what people like to look at like a black dancer and be like, oh look, he's just naturally talented. She's just naturally talented, or
as
a
if it's
musician.
fucking easy to them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say he made a point that they just like to dismiss all these hardworking black artists and athletes as just talented without putting merit to like their work ethic.
Yeah, that is what it is. It's dismissive.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the work ethic, right? Like that's the
Uh-huh.
day-to-day shit that you don't know, like fucking sore getting up to work out,
Yeah.
fucking icing problems, like just like not wanting to fucking do it and pushing through it and shit.
And they make it look easy.
Yeah, that's
You know?
that's always like, oh my God, I'm always like so astounded by that when people are like, trying to teach you something and they make it look easy.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how fucking good are you then?
Right. It's crazy.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so Dennis had a family with the Pistons that he always wanted.
Aww.
He says, quote, this is going to sound really bad, 86, 91, if we could have had sex with each other, I think we would have done that. That's how close we were.
Oh my God, Dennis. No.
No judgment, my God, but that sounds weird. Like,
Yeah. You couldn't think of any other words, bro? Come on. You couldn't think of anything else?
I have never said that about a friend, male or female.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah.
But also, none of my friends have facilitated me winning back-to-back NBA championships.
Oh, so there's a difference.
There's a difference. Or tolerated me drinking milk in the club.
I would tell you right now, mate, I will never hang out with you again. If we go to the club and you order milk, I'll be like, bye.
Hey, I'm ordering milk in Vegas. I'm ordering oat milk in the club.
The worst thing is that I fucking hate milk. Oat milk is that what you said?
Yeah.
If you order oat milk around me, I'm gonna throw that shit in your face.
Bottles
a real housewife.
some bottles of oat milk.
Can we get some oatmeal over here? This bitch wants to get cozy. I would like to order some oat milk and a fucking air purifier over here.
Can you order hot chocolate, hot cocoa in the club?
Man, I will hurt you. You're so stupid. Oh gosh.
Okay, so anyway, ask me again if I want to have sex with my friends after those things happen. After I win an NBA championship and order
You know what,
oat milk
bitch? I
in the
don't want to have
club.
sex with you. How about that? How about that?
How about that?
Yeah, you think you're gonna reject me? Whoop. Flip, return. Reject your stupid ass. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all.
She also said, whoop, flip, return. That's the remix to Whoop. There it is.
Oh gosh.
All right, but there is a problem. The problem is that
He's drinking milk in the cup.
yeah, that's problem number one.
Yeah.
In professional team sports, yeah, that might be your family. Those are your brothers. Those are your boys. But those families change as pieces are moved. It's a business,
Yeah,
you know?
that sucks.
And Dennis never crossed his mind.
That sucks.
He thought like they were all going to retire as Pistons. He thought this is my family and we're going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
He thought he found his tribe, you know? And he had been looking for that his whole life and like here it was.
Right.
Anyway, in 1991, after losing in the playoffs to eventual champs, the Chicago Bulls, who are about to start a dynasty, and again in 1992 when they lost in the first round to the New York Knicks, Dennis's world was turned upside down when the man who had become the closest thing he ever had to a father, Chuck Daly, resigned.
Wow.
This is literally the turning point of Dennis's whole life.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. This same 1992 offseason saw Dennis and the mother of his daughter wed and file for divorce all within 82 days.
Oh, that's messy.
Dennis's relationship with his daughter Alexis is really sad.
Really?
Yeah. He talks about how it, quote, sucked when she was born.
Oh, no.
Not that he wished he didn't have her, but that he didn't understand how to be a father.
Okay.
Alexis says she can count on two hands all the times that she saw her father growing up.
Oh, no.
And she says that's being generous.
Wow.
And it's really, I mean, like, you see in the championship parade, she's on the float with him. And, like, you know, you have this image, like, oh, he must be such a good dad because, like.
Look, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't like that. And he just didn't have the tools. He didn't know how.
Right.
You know?
It sucks.
I mean, it sucks because then, like, my dude don't have kids or, like, just try your fucking damnedest to not.
Yeah. Not be what you had.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
She also said that, of course, that led to her own issues as far as thinking she didn't deserve to be loved.
Of course, the cycle continues.
Dennis, for his part, seemed genuinely distraught in interviews at the time about not seeing his little girl. It was really sad because he says every time he sees a little girl, he thinks of his daughter.
Oh,
And then the interviewer is like, "Why don't you just call her then?" And then
yeah,
he's like in tears and he just doesn't have an answer.
right.
So his literal family fell apart just as his chosen family did. This sent Dennis into a spiral. He didn't even really care about basketball anymore. He didn't show up for preseason camp, and he was subsequently fined $68,000.
Oh, wow.
He started missing games due to various suspensions and injuries. Then in February of 1993, after friends reported him and one of his guns missing the night before, Dennis was found asleep in the parking lot of the Palace in the wee hours of the morning before practice, holding a rifle with his sock and shoe off,
Whoa.
which you'd need to do if you were going to shoot yourself with a rifle, like with your foot.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You got the image? Yeah. Dennis later confessed that he came close to killing himself that night, but he wanted to listen to the radio for a little bit, so he turned on the radio and then thankfully just fell asleep.
Oh, good.
But despite this ending up all over the press, in some way this was a cry for help that led Dennis to decide to change his life, for better or worse. Thus, he asked the Pistons for a trade, and in October of that year, he found himself in San Antonio playing for the Spurs. In a lot of stories that we tell, a superstar being found with a gun in their hand, a hair away from killing themselves, would be the biggest scandal in the story.
Right.
But we're just getting started. Because in some way, the old Dennis Rodman did die that night in February. In October of 1993, when Dennis was introduced to a stadium full of cheering fans in San Antonio, he had a little surprise in store. He showed up late to the introduction event, but finally took the mic and said, quote, "You can like me or you can hate me, but I know one thing. When I step on this damn floor, all I'm gonna do is get solid."
What?
And he and he dropped the mic, took off his hat to reveal his freshly bleached head of hair, and the crowd went fucking nuts.
Iconic.
Yeah, Dennis
That's-
Rodman, the icon, was born in that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Almost overnight, the Worm started getting tattoos. He had all these piercings. His hair was constantly wild and crazy colors, and the sports world lost their shit.
Yeah.
No one in any sport ever displayed the kind of loud individuality that Dennis had, ever. So the sports establishment kind of didn't like this.
But it's so dope.
It's amazing.
It's so dope. Like, he's got such cool, unique style.
Yeah, and he's like he almost like, he's not a good looking man, but like he's almost attractive now.
No,
just
yeah,
'cause of
because he's
his,
got
like,
swag.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's thinking of like why maybe, I mean, obviously lots of issues would lead him to want to end his life, but he's such an individual in like an industry that doesn't like men that are like that, like
right.
men that, because think of like Dennis Rodman in this era, he would be more willing to like, maybe dress in dresses more and like,
yeah, for sure.
be open. Now people dye their hair. Nobody gives a shit about that.
Right. It's nothing. It's crazy that this was so
controversial or like,
yeah,
for sure.
So anyway, that for sports fans, so like sport may not have liked it, but fans, and not just basketball fans or even sports fans, but the culture in general was really receptive to what he was doing.
Fuck yeah. MTV loved this shit.
Oh, for sure. There were so many clips from MTV in the 30 for 30. It was great.
Fuck yeah. And that's like the peak MTV right there.
Yeah. So he became bigger than sports and became a massive celebrity and one of the biggest stars in the world in the process. Now, in 1994, arguably the most famous woman in the world, and quite possibly the most attention-seeking person in the world,
seriously,
took one look at the phenomenon that was Dennis Rodman and decided she wanted a piece of him. This woman is, of course, my problematic fave, Madonna. Here's a subject in which I'm an expert, so I'll say that dating Dennis Rodman is 1,000% on brand for Madonna in 1994.
Oh yeah, that's a move right there.
She's at peak Madonna, which means that she is An artist, a provocateur, a feminist, an icon. She's pushing the boundaries of what women were allowed to be and say and do with their bodies. And like I said, she loves attention.
And Dennis was doing that for men.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's totally on brand. Does she have red hair right now?
She had like short black hair.
Oh, I like that look.
Yeah. So dating the Worm ticks off several of her boxes. Not to mention that I'm sure she just literally wanted his worm to tick her box. Now I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, they met during a photo shoot when she interviews him for Vibe magazine. You should look up the cover to that. Isn't that so tight?
That's so tight.
I didn't get a chance to read the article, but I'm like, damn, Madonna was interviewing for Vibe magazine. That's so fucking sick.
Yeah, I want to see this.
So anyway, they met during a photo shoot when she interviews him for Vibe magazine. And this whirlwind romance is fucking huge at the time.
Fuck yeah.
Think Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande times 100, times 1,000. Because she was much more famous than Ariana, and he was right on the cusp of becoming an icon in his own right.
That's so dope. He dresses so dope.
Yeah. He was like, I think of him in like swirls and shit, that very 90s. Like.
Yeah.
So he was an icon. He was like right on the cusp of becoming an icon in his own right. And this relationship arguably is the thing that pushes him squarely into icon territory.
For sure.
He calls himself her material boy, which I'm sure she hated that. But Madonna showed up to a fucking Spurs game and sat courtside.
Oh my God.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
She infamously visited them in their locker room right after a game and made a point to tell them they didn't need to get dressed because they were all naked. This was all insane and added to the growing hysteria surrounding Dennis. The relationship ultimately ended after a couple of months. Dennis claimed she broke up with him after offering him $20 million to get her pregnant.
Whoa.
According to him, she called him up from New York and said that she was ovulating. So she sent him her jet because he was in Vegas. And like he hopped on the jet, got it in with her at her house in Manhattan, and she put him back on her jet. She was like, bye, all within 12 hours.
God.
So he says she didn't get pregnant, though, and dumped him shortly thereafter. Despite all this, I sort of understand, like you were saying, the mutual attraction. Like,
oh, for sure.
They were both doing, or at least trying to do similar things in their respective fields. So I imagine that it was easy to hit it off. Like, they totally were, like, vibing. They were on the same wavelength.
For sure.
Anyway, like I said, Madonna made Dennis into an icon. His former teammate, John Sally, goes as far as to say, quote, "Without Madonna, there is no Dennis Rodman as we know him, period."
Yeah, I mean, it's still like Kylie and Travis, like we were saying, like she's just going to open him up to this whole other audience.
Yeah.
That's her audience is gigantic.
That's almost a direct quote from the documentary.
Oh, really? How funny.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was that said that. That was like, but it's a double-edged sword because now this also introduces you to scrutiny,
of course,
from people who probably never knew you existed.
Right.
Now you're on the arm of like the most famous woman in the world. So
right. Now eyes are watching you from everywhere.
Yeah. John Sally said, Dennis got to watch firsthand how you become a superstar. Dennis says that they got together when both of their careers were on the rise. And I was like,
what?
I was like in 1994.
Madonna was already fucking a superstar legend.
She already had a greatest hits album.
Yeah.
This is post Vogue. This is like, she was 10 years plus deep into her.
She was on the rise with Material Girl, my dude. She was on the rise with like a virgin.
So I'm like, you're giving yourself too much credit, my guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, the Spurs were ousted in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, fuck.
The 1994-1995 season would prove to be a bad one for Dennis. He was known more for his antics, be they off court or on. He was suspended for several games, took a long leave of absence, injured himself on his motorcycle, and it was just never ending. He started getting pretty seriously into partying around this time too, which is crazy because this was the dude that was drinking milk in the club.
Right.
In May 1995, Dennis did an interview with Sports Illustrated where he discussed having homosexual fantasies, frequenting gay bars, and dressing in drag. This was revolutionary.
Right.
Again, these were not behaviors that were deemed acceptable for male athletes at the time.
Right. Especially like a black man too.
Yeah, Exactly. And I mean, in many ways, they're still not. You'd be hard pressed to find a male pro athlete willing to go on the record about enjoying being in drag or having sexual fantasies about other men.
For sure.
So you can only imagine how huge of a deal this was in 1995. He started wearing makeup and women's clothing and wigs more and more in public. But Dennis was just being Dennis. He was just expressing himself.
Yeah, like he played with his sisters when he was little. Like
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
Yeah, he's just having fun.
This was just what he was into. This is just like his art.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I feel bad for men who don't like wearing dresses. Dresses are the most comfortable thing.
I feel bad for men who don't like wearing makeup.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, like even
There's
if
so
it's
much you
just-
could do to like improve your. I mean, don't wear makeup if you don't want to, but
Right.
I mean, it's amazing what makeup will do. I'll just say that.
Yes,
It's fucking incredible.
It's like if for a man, like if you just had like a tinted moisturizer,
Right,
or
right,
just
right.
like a moisturizer in general.
Yeah, it's crazy. Makeup will change your whole ass face, dude, if you wanted to.
But they say men's makeup is a beard, which I do believe that they look so different with beards versus without.
Yeah.
Anyway, John Sally thinks it had a lot to do with Dennis feeling and being told he was ugly his whole life.
Aw.
That he never felt beautiful until he put on lipstick and a dress.
Aw.
Which I feel like
Yeah, same.
that's yeah that right there, like that when he said that, I was that meme, you know, of that black guy who's like, and the whole world is spinning around him.
Yeah, it
I
makes
was like,
perfect sense.
that makes sense. This form of self-expression also, I think, finally meant that he belonged to a community.
Right.
A community of so-called weirdos and freaks, but a community nonetheless.
Right. The subcultures.
Uh-huh. This era makes me think of Melrose.
Yeah.
It's just
Seriously.
like, this is like, I wish I was like Winona Ryder's age, man. Like, this was such an amazing time.
That's funny.
He gravitated to other outcasts and other rebels, not to mention the fact that the gay community embraced him for being different. Dennis even dyed the AIDS ribbon into his hair for games in solidarity with those suffering during the ongoing AIDS crisis.
Wow, what a king.
The Spurs, however, felt like he was a distraction. And I do feel for them because unfortunately, like, they're
It's
not
true.
wrong.
Yeah, no,
you
they're
know?
not wrong. And it does happen to athletes a lot where like if they start to get more attention for their personal things versus like what they're doing in their sport, there's a backlash.
Yeah. And I mean, it fucking sucks because look at him. He's bringing attention to AIDS and stuff. Like, this is great.
It is great, yeah.
Everything that he's doing is great.
Yeah.
But, you know, these were all things that were shocking at the time. So, of course, it's going to be a distraction.
Right.
However, the Spurs had reigning MVP David Robinson. And when he actually played, Dennis Rodman was still one of the best defenders to ever do it. So they actually were favored to maybe win it all. This was the second of 2 seasons between the Bulls three-peat, during which Jordan had retired. But the Spurs ended up losing to the eventual champs, the Houston Rockets, in the Western Conference Finals. So 2 seasons into his stint with the Spurs, they hadn't gotten the job done. The Spurs thought that Dennis was going to be the missing piece and provide the toughness they were lacking to win an NBA title, but it just wasn't working. That part was funny because, you know, they talk about they were lacking toughness and then they cut to like David Robinson playing like the Moonlight Sonata on his piano or some shit. I like the Spurs a lot though, so shout out to David Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't working. Dennis had gotten over 40 technical fouls, like 8 suspensions, tens of thousands of dollars in fines. He had physically fought with one of the assistant coaches during a game. It was bad.
Oh.
David Robinson said Dennis had become more about performance art than performance.
Oh no.
So Dennis wanted out. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Jordan had come out of retirement after he realized that he sucked at baseball. And he, along with Scottie Pippen to God and Mike King, Phil Jackson, were looking for the missing piece that they needed in Chicago. Phil suggested Dennis, and Jordan was like, dope, whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
But Scottie was like, fuck that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Dennis had literally spent the last 7-ish years literally smacking the shit out of Scottie every time they played against each other.
Dude, Scottie, you know who's interesting to me? Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's wife.
Yeah, is she on one of those shows?
No, but she's Kim's, like, she's a Kardashian close friend.
Uh-huh.
She was actually on Real Housewives of Miami for like that Real Housewives only lasted like 2 seasons.
Uh-huh.
And I think she was only on the first season, her. But yeah, interesting, and I think there's a lot there. Actually,
There is a lot there. I
Yeah.
think she has interesting dating history. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love Scottie Pippen, man. Okay, but anyway, like I don't know what it was about Scottie that brought it out of him, but every highlight of them playing against each other ends with Scottie needing to be scraped off the floor.
God damn.
So Scottie needed convincing, but in the end, after Phil gave assurances that he could handle him, Scottie agreed, and the Worm was officially a member of the Chicago Bulls.
That's crazy. This is so wild.
Now, the Bulls were clearly taking a gamble on a volatile 34-year-old role player here.
Yeah.
But if it worked, the upside would be huge. And huge it was. The Bulls and the Worm went on to win 3 straight championships.
That's so crazy.
Fun fact,
Bloop.
Dennis didn't speak to Scottie or MJ off the court for those entire 3 years.
Really?
Not a single
Wow.
conversation.
I was wondering because he wanted to like fuck the other members.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
he was just like in his own world. He was doing his own thing.
Yeah. Maybe he realized like these guys aren't my family. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's probably a good thing.
he could be like, I gotta find this elsewhere.
But everyone does talk about how much he respected MJ though. Like
Good.
he was like, it's MJ's team and like whatever he's the leader, so whatever he wants to do, like
That's
I'll fucking
cool.
do it, you know?
He seems like such a good teammate. Like,
He's very professional.
need
Everyone
more
talked about like
players
how
like that.
professional he is.
yeah.
That I saw this, I was like watching, I got into this hole of watching like interviews of them now, like Scottie and Dennis and MJ talking about like that era.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who was saying like we need more of that. We want these guys, like we have this expectation of fans. We want these guys to be like best friends on and off the court. But sometimes it's business. I mean, it is business. And
Right.
you just need like
To-
professionalism.
Yeah. To play together well and
Yeah.
respect each other, even if you
Right.
don't like each other.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing in my head, remembering that text my brother sent me after we were talking about Antonio Brown, and he was like, I
Mhm.
just listened to your last episode. Don't ever talk about sports again. And then I did Michael Vick that next week.
And that was that like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. And now we're talking
We're
about
doing a lot of
this. Yeah,
sports.
so fuck you, Vic. Talk about what I want.
We're doing Jose Canseco next week.
Yeah.
So anyway, they were just different personality types. So they were never going to be friends. And also MJ and Scottie were so close.
Right.
You know, they had been together for I think like 5 or more years at that point. So it's like you're not going to be that guy. You're not going to be best friends with those guys. They're already their own clique, you know.
Right.
And also, I did not know this, but I learned that MJ punched Steve Kerr in the face during a practice. Like
What?
So like even the other guys who are arguably like friendly and just regular dudes, like
yeah.
they were,
like not characters like Dennis.
yeah, like they're not gonna be best friends with these dudes. So the Worm is certainly not gonna be best friends with these dudes.
Right.
But anyway, Scottie and MJ didn't care as long as he got the job done on the floor.
Yeah.
And Dennis did have his moments though. He infamously headbutted a referee. And also kicked a cameraman in the groin, which
Ooh.
ended up costing him $1 million, $200K in a settlement with the cameraman, and then the rest in loss of pay from the suspension.
Oh, wow.
The cameraman incident was a huge scandal.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was discussed on every channel ad nauseum as part of a larger discussion about quote unquote thuggish behavior in professional sports,
Uh-huh.
which Dennis was ridiculously wrong in this incident, but we all know that the word thug
Thuggish. Yeah.
is code for black, but that's a whole different story.
It's only acceptable in 2 situations: when you're listening to the Bone Thugs and Harmony song. Well, anytime you
thuggish,
listen to Bone,
ruggish
yeah, anytime you
bone.
listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony, the word thug is perfectly acceptable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the other time is what's that song? Is it 213 with where he goes, "Are you feeling my Timbs, my baggy jeans, my thug appeal?" In that situation, is perfectly acceptable as
That's
well.
Black and JC Chasez.
There you go. What's the name of that song? Ooh,
Bring it
baby,
all to
bring
me.
it all to me. Yeah,
That's a bop.
That's a bop.
I wonder who wrote that song.
I bet it was
Because
him,
I
right?
bet they did not expect JC to be the one talking about Tim's
Yeah.
and baggy jeans and thug appeal.
Yeah.
Shout out to the underrated JC.
If you
who-
wear Tim's, baggy jeans, and you got thug appeals, give us a call, 505-539-0556.
although I'm more of a loafers, skinny jeans, and sweater type of girl.
Oh my God, May.
Shoot shot.
If you're the type of person that orders milk at the club, give May a call. 505-539-0556. Jesus.
Have we done Allen Iverson?
No, I love Allen Iverson though. I love the Iverson documentary from HBO. Remember that one?
Yeah. That's a great one.
That shit's so good.
Or it might have been Showtime.
Oh, maybe it was Showtime, yeah.
But that would be a good episode in which to have a larger discussion about like the
That-
thuggish. Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever,
we're going to need
the
to bring in
dress
a
code.
psychologist for that one.
There's a really sweet part in the documentary where Isaiah Thomas tears up talking about this era because he says that because now he's not his teammate, you know, so he says that he felt helpless when he'd see Dennis doing all this shit,
Aww.
which he knew in his heart was a cry for help, but no one was helping him.
Right. Aww.
Dennis was also fined at one point for briefly leaving the team in the middle of a playoff series to go wrestle Hulk Hogan. Despite the fact that the stunt didn't cause him to miss any games, but I'm sure Phil Jackson was livid.
Oh, yeah.
Zen ass Phil Jackson was probably like throwing shit.
You think Phil Jackson slapped Dennis Rodman?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised
pushed to
because
like the limit.
how else do you wrangle the worm?
And
Like you have
can't,
to.
Yeah. Just like, God damn it, Dennis.
MJ actually is in the documentary for a hot second, and he said like after he headbutted the referee that time,
Right.
he said after the game they just like all locked him in the locker room and they were like, "You promised us, man."
That's funny.
Anyway, during this time, Dennis was actually more popular than Michael Jordan. Which is, I mean, it's crazy to think about, and everybody talks about that. They're like, this is fucking insane. Like, the guy who's supposed to be the biggest star in the NBA is being outshined on his own team by Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, but
The
Michael's
crowd-
boring. Like, I mean, yeah, he's the best,
Yeah.
but that's it.
Right.
Like, there's nothing else to it. Dennis is like a show.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
crowds would scream louder and longer for him than for MJ, because Dennis was showbiz, baby.
Fuck yeah, people love drama.
Yeah. And MJ was a square, aside from his gambling addiction.
Yeah.
That's his own episode. In 1996, Dennis did probably his biggest and most shocking stunt to date when, during promoting his memoir, the #1 New York Times bestseller, Bad as I Wanna Be,
Ooh.
he claimed that he was bisexual and announced that he would be getting married in a public ceremony in New York City,
Oh my God.
during which he revealed that he'd marry himself and he dressed as a blushing bride.
I remember those pictures of him in that wedding dress.
Yes. They were expecting like a couple hundred people, but thousands of people showed up to witness this.
Oh my God.
Somebody in the doc said that it was like if Princess Diana was getting married through the streets of New York. It was crazy. The footage has become one of the most enduring images of the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you see like a clip show from the 90s, like this is always included.
Isn't he like signing the thing?
He's signing his book
and
'cause
there's
it's
like
a
all
book
these
signing.
people surrounding him.
Yeah, he showed up in like a horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah.
Like he's
And like a
signing his book.
veil.
Yep, he's got his wig on. He looks beautiful. Shout out to you, my
Yeah,
guy.
glowing,
say,
my dude.
say yes to the dress, baby. Throughout these championship seasons, Dennis's partying went to the next level.
Uh-oh.
He was going out literally every night,
Wow.
even on game nights. So he'd like play in a game, they'd win. Obviously, this was the season that one of these seasons was when they won 72 games.
Jesus.
So they'd win. Then Dennis would go out to the club. He'd take up to 40 shots of Jägermeister a night
Oh, ew.
because people would buy him. They'd be like, "Dennis in the club," like,
Yeah.
and the whole club would like buy him shots and shit.
Yeah.
So he'd take up to like 40 shots a night. He'd stay up till 5 a.m. Then he'd take a nap. He'd show up to practice and repeat the process over and over and over again. They said it was like Groundhog Day every day
Oh my God.
for over 3 years. Not only that, but in 1997, his dad, Philander, showed up and tried to get into his life.
Shut up.
Turns out Philander moved to the Philippines, where he eventually fathered 28 children.
Shut up, May.
This piece of shit. Philander was all up in the press, wearing like a Rodman jersey, posing next to like cardboard cutouts of him.
That's disgusting.
He was trying to manipulate Dennis into letting him back in, but thankfully Dennis just ignored him.
Good.
Like they would ask him like, "Oh, did you know that your dad was in the crowd tonight?" And he'd be like, "Oh, really?" Like next
That's
question.
fucked
like,
up.
Whatever.
The press shouldn't do that too.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
But-
Good. And we don't care.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably not taking care of his kids.
28 kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? That's ridiculous, sir. What the fuck?
How about if you couldn't take care of the 3
Yeah.
you had?
Just let it go.
Just stop.
Yeah.
After completing the 3-peat in 1998, the Bulls were forced to rebuild after the departure of MJ Pippen and Steve Kerr and Phil Jackson. And Dennis was released shortly thereafter. He threw in a little marriage to my girl Carmen Electra. In November of 1998, they got married at the Little Chapel of Flowers in Las Vegas.
That's amazing.
But Carmen filed for divorce by April of 99. That marriage is iconic.
That's like peak Carmen too, right?
That's peak Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so beautiful.
Dude, it's crazy how hot she was.
I was always shocked that she was like, she played second fiddle to like Pamela Anderson. Because
And
to me,
Jenny McCarthy too, I thought.
oh yeah, because she kind of followed in Jenny's footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised Jenny didn't date Dennis.
You think Carmen Electra's hotter than Pamela?
Yeah. She's more my type, I would say.
Yeah, me too. But Pamela is just, she's also like iconic.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about 90s, man. Pam, Dennis Rodman.
Carmen Electra, Jenny
Yeah.
McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about Jenny McCarthy though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Sorry to that woman.
Vaccinate your kids.
In November of 99, Dennis and this was after she had already filed for divorce, but you know, they were like, that relationship was crazy. They were like on again, off again.
Yeah.
They were both arrested and charged with battery following a fight in a Miami hotel room.
Oh no.
And somehow Carmen manages to look better than I've ever looked in my whole life in her mugshot.
Shut up, really?
She looks fucking beautiful.
Oh my God.
The Worm did a brief 23-game stint with the Lakers during the shortened 98-99 NBA season. I remember being really excited about this as a kid, but it came and fucking went. And in my mind, I remembered that he kicked another cameraman, but I looked it up and I couldn't find it anywhere. Anyway, the next season, Dennis went home when he signed with the Dallas Mavericks, one of the worst teams in the league. And he was quickly waived just a month later after showing signs of his trademark erratic behavior. He was like, he got like tossed out of like 2 games. It was like a mess.
no.
It was like, yeah. And just like that, after 14 seasons, 5 championships, and a record 7 years in a row of leading the league in rebounds, and 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, the Worm's NBA career was over.
Hey, but what a career, honestly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
5 championships,
Yeah.
2 Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it's insane what he managed to accomplish. And he was like old.
Yeah.
Almost the whole time.
I feel like a pervert because I keep looking at Carmen Electra pictures now.
He's so hot, man.
Yeah, it's like crazy. How is your body this perfect and your face and everything? What the fuck?
Did you see her mugshot though?
Yeah, she looks great.
So
What was the name of the show she hosted on MTV?
she took over for Jenny on Singled Out.
Singled Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love that show.
So he actually played in several other leagues for a while though, including in Mexico where he played for the Tijuana Dragons.
Hell yeah, baby.
Did not know that was a thing. The new millennium has been a crazy time for the Worm.
Dude, shut up, man, because I literally put the word millennium in my AD.
In 2000 and 2001, he had 2 more kids, DJ and Trinity, with a woman he named Michelle Moore. He didn't name her Michelle Moore. Her name was Michelle Moore.
Okay.
Michelle and Dennis managed to maintain that nonstop party lifestyle that Dennis was used to when they opened a bar together in Newport Beach.
Ooh.
This era really sticks out in my mind because I remember him constantly being on the local news because there was like hella drama. Like it was bad. They married in 2003 on Dennis's 42nd birthday, but she filed for divorce in 2004, although it wasn't official until 2012.
Oh, wow.
Dennis, unfortunately, isn't really a part of his younger children's lives either,
Oh no.
and reportedly owes 6 to 7 figures in child and spousal support.
Oh Jesus.
His marriage to Michelle sounds absolutely terrible. He was arrested a few times for domestic violence incidents, and the police were called to his house in Redondo over 70 times for noise complaints.
Wow.
That's why he was all up in the news at that time.
Right.
He got DUIs. He did a hit and run. It was bad. It was wild. He also did some more professional wrestling and was a member of the New World Order. He dipped his toe into some acting. He was the first man to pose naked for PETA's anti-fur campaign. He did Celebrity Big Brother in 2006. He actually won the Celebrity Mole.
Oh wow.
He did Celebrity Apprentice in 2009, but the erratic behavior he displayed on that show prompted Phil Jackson, along with other family and friends, to stage an intervention and send him to rehab.
Wow.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Shout out to Phil Jackson. Which, of course, means that he ended up on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew and on Sober House. In 2011, he was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. During his speech, speaking through tears, he said that his only regret was that he wished he was a better father.
Well, at least he acknowledges it.
His ex-wife, Michelle, said, quote, "Part of me felt like it was fake.
Oh.
The other part wanted to believe it all." Because if that's your biggest regret, then there's still time. Like, fucking do it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I think too, but I don't know.
His two younger kids are still children. His older daughter, Alexis, like, you can still be a father to her, even though she's an adult. You know?
Absolutely. And like now she's an adult. She maybe could come to an understanding more than like the young kids, you know?
And she actually, like, seeing her talk in the documentary, she's so like poised and put together. Like,
good for her. And shout out to her mom.
Right. Shout out to her mom especially. And she just like, she understands, I guess. Like, she's kind of like, it is what it, like, she doesn't fault him for his inability to be that father.
Yeah.
But she's also not going to let him in that way. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 2013, he did another season of Celebrity Apprentice. Also in February of 2013, Dennis became the first American to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un when he traveled to North Korea. Kim is famously a super fan of 90s era Chicago Bulls and was eager to meet Dennis. This unexpected international incident became probably the biggest scandal Dennis has ever been a part of in a life full of scandals.
I forgot, in that movie, The Interview, Randall Park plays Kim Jong-un, and they play basketball at one point. And I think he's wearing a Bulls jersey.
Those pictures of Kim Jong-un wearing a Bulls jersey when he's like a teenager.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know.
What went wrong? Anyway, this very fraught diplomatic relationship with a foreign adversary, who the West is doing everything in their power to keep from becoming aggressors in a nuclear war.
Seriously.
Was basically walked into by Dennis the Worm Rodman. This is literally the last person on earth that we needed entering this tense standoff.
Right? Just pause the podcast right here and think about that for a second.
Right.
That shit is ridiculous.
I cannot think of a worse person that this could have.
Kanye.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, but if Kanye went, maybe he'd have Kim, who I feel like kind of checks him a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But Dennis, I guess, hit it off with Kim, calling him a, quote, friend for life.
I know. I remember that was so weird.
Meanwhile, back in the U.S., the State Department is putting out fires left and right, trying to make it loudly and abundantly clear that Dennis Rodman is in no way acting as an ambassador or in any official capacity as a representative of the United States government.
Right.
In July 2013, in a quote to Sports Illustrated, Dennis said, P.S. It kind of freaked me out when I read this quote that it very easily could have come from the current president of the United States and scared the shit out of me. Anyway, quote, "My mission is to break the ice between hostile countries. Why it's been left to me to smooth things over, I don't know. Dennis Rodman, of all people. Keeping us safe is really not my job. It's the black guy's job." This was 2013, so he was referring to Obama.
Mm-hmm.
"But I'll tell you this. if I don't finish in the top 3 for the next Nobel Peace Prize, something's seriously wrong.
Jesus. That does sound like Trump.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, like 1,000%.
Yeah, so this guy, the guy who made that quote, is the guy that's over there having the closest relationship of anyone to this madman.
Yeah.
In the fall of that year, Dennis visited with Kim Jong-un in North Korea again and was quickly becoming the Westerner with the most intimate knowledge of probably the most secretive dictator and one of the most oppressive regimes in the world. And that's scary. We have experts for this.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un has literally vowed to destroy the United States.
Yeah.
What on earth is happening in this timeline that our nation's survival somehow depends on Dennis not fucking up a hangout with a dictator?
Oh, guys.
Dennis advocated for Kim to release an American prisoner, I think that guy's name was Kenneth Bay, who had been sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in North Korea.
Jesus.
But he also implied that it was Kenneth's own fault that he was imprisoned. However, against all odds, Kim Jong-un later released him.
Wow.
Dennis returned to North Korea yet again for some exhibition basketball games with American players in 2014, during which he was on a 2-week bender and was recorded at a state dinner making a drunken tirade.
Uh-oh.
This is exactly
why?
the problem.
Yeah.
He entered rehab as soon as he got back to the United States. In 2017, he returned to North Korea but did not meet with Kim Jong-un, although he did bring him the gift of a copy of Donald Trump's 1987 book, The Art of the Deal.
Jesus.
Dennis had, of course, endorsed his longtime friend Donald Trump in the 2016 election.
Yep, he's all maggot out.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, what do you expect? This I understand, you know?
Oh, me too.
I would expect nothing less from Dennis Rodman, honestly, and that's his friend.
Yeah.
He visited DPRK again in 2018 as part of the North Korea and United States Summit, which marked the first ever meeting between the leaders of North Korea and the United States. There was this, I saw on Wikipedia that there's this professor of neurobiology at, I think it was like Yale or something, who said, we actually might at the end of the day, have to give him credit for this because he's being a longtime friend of Trump.
Right.
And also being one of Kim Jong-un's only links and friends to the West in the Western world.
Uh-huh.
This maybe did in some way facilitate softening relationships with North Korea.
That's
although
fucking insane, mate.
Some would argue that it hasn't softened. I guess time will tell.
Right.
But I mean there is apparently a circle of people who think that he deserves some sort of credit.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. Oh, Dennis is now a grandfather.
Oh, good.
His daughter Alexis just had a son who she said brings her hope that maybe one day Dennis can have a relationship with his grandson in a way that he never had with her.
Okay, well, fucking do it, dude.
Good luck.
Yeah.
During his career, the Worm is said to have earned at least $30 million in wages alone.
Yeah, but he was doing appearances.
Yeah,
he was getting ad money. Yeah,
yeah. He had a new number 1 best-selling book.
Yeah. No, he was making money.
Yeah. All of that money is now gone.
Oh, no.
He drank it and partied it away. He says he wants his legacy to be ending the diplomatic stalemate between the U.S. and North Korea.
Jesus.
While I think that may be a long shot, I think given Dennis Rodman's life so far, crazier things have happened.
That's true.
And that's the story of Dennis Rodman.
Whew. What a story, me. Good job.
Fun fact.
Bloop.
Dennis claims he's broken his dick 3 times, the last time being so bloody that his lady friend thought she had killed him.
Holy shit, that's scary.
And that's the story of Dennis Rodman.
There you go.
A life so crazy I could barely fit in 3 broken dicks.
That's true, though. That's wild. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. That was this week's episode. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod and on the website dramaclubpod.com. Shoot us an email, dramaclubpod@gmail.com.
If you like drinking milk in the club, hit us up on the hotline at 505-539-0556. Send us a postcard to our P.O. Box. P.O. Box number 27433, LAC 89027. And we'll catch you on Monday with a brand new Afternoon Delight episode.
Bye.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.